Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, welcome to Why Women Kill. I'm your host, Jackie Nova. I am so glad to be back in action, baby. I've got my co-host with the mostest, George Corey. Let me tell you a little something about George Corey. He's a filmmaker with a TV series called Black Coffee, and it's coming out soon. George, welcome.
You always hype me up. Thank you for the kind introduction.
You're so welcome. My God. We've got episodes 6 and 7 to cover. And let me tell you, it just keeps getting juicier. George, what are your thoughts on any little snippets? I mean, we're gonna talk about, Beth Ann. We're going to talk about Simone and how she's getting divorced. We're going to talk about Taylor and how she's getting very, very jealous. And we love how Simone is going to confront Hector, who is the lover of Carl. Oh my God, we've got so much to cover. We also have a special segment, which is Juicy, Juicy, Juicy Why Women Killers. Huh? George is going to cover that, and he's going to let you know why women kill. And I've got some juicy news too, and you're going to have to stay tuned for that, baby dolls. Please get on here, chat with us. Come, listen. Oh, another person. I wanted to give a quick shout out because he's always tuning in. San Sawamapan. Thank you for tuning in all the time, religiously.
I'll see you, Sam. See you.
We see you, Sam. And who we also see is Lucy Lou's fan club base on Instagram. They just popping up our clips.
I need to shout out the Lucy Lou fan club. Y'all give me more attention than my mama do. So thank you. No knock to you, Mom, but step it up. I want a fan club.
Step it up. Thank you, Lucy Lou's fan club. We're so grateful for that. Hopefully we can get Lucy Lou on the show.
That would be incredible.
And we heard that Mark. Well, not that Mark Cherry.
I know someone who knows him, and maybe we can work through the grapevine.
That's right. We can get Mark himself. He's the creator. I mean, he's the man with the plan.
Yeah, he probably created Earth too, for all we know. We don't know.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna get into it. I mean, we're delving into 2 episodes. We've got Beth Ann wants to throw a housewarming party, and because she lost her daughter, Emily, and her husband's taking a lot of notice in him now. He's noticing her now more, and sort of weaning away from his blonde lover. How do you feel about that?
It's a tough one. She's been fighting for attention for so long. But by throwing a party, it kind of brings things to the forefront.
Yes.
And gets everyone in a situation where you're more visible, you're more in the community. Yeah. And usually when these affairs be happening, they happen behind closed doors.
That's right.
And I don't know if there's such thing as that anymore in 2019, but back then in the 60s, it's very easy to get away with stuff. So by including the community, you make yourself more visible and you make your statement as woman of the house.
That's right. And being a woman of the house, she discovered that Mary, her neighbor, is being abused by her husband, which really has happened a lot back in that time. But, this woman, Beth Ann, is very brave, and she's becoming very bold, and she's not having it.
She has a huge heart in standing up, and we see that through her just even hanging out with the person. I know her intentions by hanging out with the person who's having an affair with her husband was to kind of do some detective work. Yeah. But even in those moments, we actually see her care about her emotional well-being. And now we see Beth Ann to the rescue again. And it's flavorful writing because although she's not a mother and lost a child, she's now becoming somewhat of a mother figure to the women in the community.
Yes, she is. I think that's really well written. And I also love how, Robert says, yeah, honey, my project is almost over. Well, we all know what the code word project is. He's about to break up with
almost
April.
Over. That's like saying my addiction is almost over. Mm-hmm. You sometimes just got to go cold turkey.
You just have to go cold.
You got to unplug. You got to pull the plug.
Yeah.
And he keeps shaking the plug. Don't shake it. Pull it.
Yeah, and do you think that's the reason why he actually did not want to save, like, I didn't like how Mary's husband dragged her away from, like, the party, like, and everybody took notice of that. Everybody knew.
That was so weak. Like,
so weak.
Dudes are so lame who even, like, not only physically dragging someone obviously is outrageous, but I really don't like it even when couples in general just argue in public. It's tasteless.
It's so tasteless.
And he's just way over the top. And unfortunately, it reminds me of things I've seen, out. And it's especially when I used to work in a nightclub. I saw a lot of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And, I mean, the dudes, they got this work when they did that because I was security. So I wasn't having it. They got this work. I'm not going to go into detail, but they got the work.
Right.
I was working, but they got the work.
Which is what Beth Ann is trying to get her husband to do. She's like, aren't you going to do something about this?
She was like, give the work. And then she chased them on upstairs. And actually, at that point, I thought, like, I know there was a close-up shot, shout out to cinematographers, but there's a close-up shot with, like, her hand behind her back.
Right.
And I thought Beth Ann was just going to pull out a shank or something. I thought the murder was about to go down there, to be honest.
Me too. I love that scene because I was just like, she just looked at me. She's like, yeah, just go enjoy the party.
I prepared some special treats downstairs. You might want to try them.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was scared of Beth Ann.
Yeah, this guy was like, is this woman talking to me like this right now?
He was a shook one. That's what he was.
Yeah, he was shook for sure. I mean, so it's just insane. I mean, that's kind of like what we gathered from the 1960s with Beth Ann and her husband Robert and the neighbor Mary, who I love how in the beginning of the scene she's talking, and I love how in the end of the episode 7 also how she confronts the graveyard and she spits at like somebody I'm like, who the hell's dead?
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out in episode 8, hopefully. But I love how it also transitions into, April being pregnant. Here we are thinking, like, Beth Ann won. Yay! She gets her husband back. Yeah. And the big bomb.
But I feel like in life it always happens like that. You think that you could get away with things, but there's such thing called karma.
Yes.
And that's a consequence of his actions. Now, on one side of the coin, it's good karma because a new life is being born.
Right.
And she may have a baby now, but it's bad karma in terms of you probably weren't planning on having that kid and being able to just put this secret away. But every action has a consequence.
Absolutely.
And speaking about that baby and the pregnancy, some of it hit me in a way where, like, Beth Ann, would she technically kind of want that baby to happen in a weird way?
I feel like she does.
Yeah.
I feel like she does because, she's become so close to April. Like, so close that I feel like she just wants them all to be together.
Almost.
Like a family.
And
like
by her, not her inability to have a kid herself.
Right. And she lost Emily. I feel like she's like all good with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, now into episode 7 for this time period, because I'm just going to go by time periods to make it make sense for everybody.
Make it easy.
Yeah, make it easy. Easy breezy, baby. Her husband's like, what's the matter? Because, she does all this beautiful dinner and she's dressed up to the nine, and he's just like wowed over everything. And you baked my favorite pie. And he's like, wait a minute. Usually there's bad news after this, and we're all thinking to ourselves like, oh, she's gonna tell
the reveal. I thought the curtains were gonna open up in that moment. Yeah. Hold the curtain. Nope,
she takes it back, George, and she says she has cancer. Like, what is happening with that? Would you have told the truth, or I think you probably would have tried to...
In that moment, I can't hold in lies that long. The few times in my life that I have lied, allegedly, it ate me alive, and I went back. Yeah. I had to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So for me, if I was in her shoes, I'm more of a confrontational person, and I do believe that just telling the truth up front is the way to go.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's going to weigh on you and you're going to carry that burden. So that was the moment where she should have just told the truth. At this point, I then questioned, what is the purpose of still holding on to a lie?
Yeah. And we're going to leave all that to predictions for 1960s with Beth Ann and Rob, yeah, it's just doozy.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just told the truth. Now he's feeling sorry for you because he thinks you have cancer. Oh, my God.
That's not the way to go.
It's not the way to go. That's really heavy. That's very heavy. My mother passed away with cancer. I'm like, ooh, did you guys have to bring that into the mix?
It hit you.
Like,
that's another point with my thoughts for the episode. It's been such a fun show.
Yeah.
And what's happening in 6 and 7, they are displaying and showcasing true struggles that happen in relationships.
Right.
And those have come up before, but now they're showing the results of that, the emotional distress, the back and forth, the new issues that resolve from one issue turning into a bigger one. Mm-hmm. And I must say that although it's more difficult to watch, it resonates with me more as this being somewhat of just a realism show.
Right, very real. And it could, also for me, it's starting to feel like, oh, they're going to someone's going to be eliminated, because out of all these episodes, we clearly know no one has died yet.
Yeah, so some of those bowling pins need to fall.
Yeah, somebody's going to need to fall. I don't think we wanted to see season 2, so it's not going to be the main
if they drag it out. Yeah, hold on. Please drag it out. I want to keep my job, writers. Drag this out as long as you can. Maybe even to season 4, so that way I have 2 and 3 guaranteed in the bag.
Guaranteed in the bag. Yeah, you never know. Maybe we can guest star and recur on the show as well.
That would be so cool.
That would be
amazing. Oh my gosh.
But about being so amazing, George, what is so amazing about being here at AfterBuzz that we love so much?
What's up, y'all? What's so amazing about AfterBuzz is that we are the ESPN of talk radio. We just want to thank you all for tuning in to these after shows, not only for Why Women Kill, but all across the board. But since you're watching right now, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a comment. If you're listening to Jackie and I's wonderful voices on iTunes podcast, hit us with that 5-star. And remember to just subscribe, share, and like everything you see, because we like the flow. And the flow brings in more listeners. So thank you for being a part of our flow. We the wave. And I just want to say this is so important to me because I got to come here and express myself and experience the show and connect with y'all. So thank you. Jackie and I really appreciate it.
We sure do. We love you guys. And write those comments because we love chatting with you all week long, baby boos. And talking about baby boos, 1980 Simone whips out her little divorce is on a roll. After Carl already said, look, I don't want a divorce. Let's just keep this amicable. Let's live together. Let's keep it the same way. Nobody has to know anything. I'll do my little thing with my guys that I like, and you do whatever you do. And boom, she hit him with the bomb. No, we're getting a divorce. But it's like Amy and Brad are having this party, and now Amy knows that they're getting a divorce, and she's freaking out. But so they're having and then she also sees Hector, who we find out is Carl's lover. That Simone never knew. This was her hairdresser. So much going on.
Having a hairdresser that you trust is just as important as having a doctor you trust. And just hear me out. You see the hairdresser way more than you see the doctor.
Right.
All right. And whatever's going on inside your body, it sucks, but not everybody gonna see it.
Yeah.
But when you go to the hairdresser, they're fixing what's on the outside. I really care about physical aesthetic and trying to look good. And I know the feeling of when my barber moved far, far away.
Right.
Left me. I went to get haircuts. I tried barbers all over the city. It was never the same.
Never.
It was never the same. So that resonated with me. Hold on. I got cut as a client because of your love affair, your mess. That's dirty.
That is very dirty. But I love how Simone, she got so ticked off and she stormed into the bathroom because she's like, everybody's at the dinner table, wondering, what is going on with your husband? Where is he? And she's like, I'll find out. And then she goes and finds out, and it's
in the
Carl
bathroom.
And Hector making out. She was so livid. But then I think it's so sweet how she confronts Hector and then says, hey, do you really love my husband? I do. What do you think about that? Let's talk. And now she's like, okay, and brings him to the house so her husband can be happy. That's a whole 360 with Simone, because I didn't see that coming. I thought that was great.
I think she just wants her hairstylist back. Although she did fish a compliment from him. He complimented the layers in her hair, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But we see something happen later in the years. And it's hard to look at things with hindsight because this is still in the 80s.
Yeah.
But we see what's happening in the 2000s, in the 2010s with this show.
Yeah.
And we see these arrangements. I think Simone, in this certain instance, is ahead of her time. She is realizing slowly that Carl is a companion over everything. And she may not have him as a lover or simply as a unique lover to her and the only person that she has an exclusive one, but she is seeing the beauty in their friendship and making mental space for the possibility of an arrangement.
Yes.
And this shows,
she doesn't want to lose that house. Are you seeing all her bling? I mean, she doesn't want to lose that house and the way she lives. I wouldn't want to leave that house.
I wouldn't want to either.
No, I will keep the arrangement. I'll bring your lover to the house.
Exactly.
How about that?
But I think it was less. We're seeing a more humane side of Simone. It wasn't just about the material. We see her actually caring about Carl because
for the first time.
Exactly, because in the screenshots of her and Tommy hooking up, it seems like she's over him. But yet she does go back. We saw it episodes ago in the banquet where she mentions that it was her husband. He's been there. Yeah. So she appreciates Carl. She understands.
She absolutely appreciates Carl. And also, but to back up a tiny little bit, she reveals, because she was just so tired of hearing, Brad's mother. So she was tired of hearing her mouth. And so she was just like, you know what? Because she's just like, why are you being so snappy with your husband? But she's like, because he's gay. And so what is her? I have her name right here. Brad's sister actually, her name is Patty. She comes in from the bathroom herself, and she's thinking that they're telling that she's gay because she's also gay. So it's like, both families are okay.
Coming to understanding. No family's perfect.
No family's perfect.
You know what all these scenes reminded me of? Do you remember when you were a kid and you had your swag on, the new backpack, new kicks, and you're feeling all cool?
Yeah.
And then your parent shows up wearing some whack wardrobe and you're like, you're a reflection of me. You're ruining my cool.
Yeah.
You could see that happening in that episode the whole time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure and they say when you get married, you're not just marrying the husband or wife.
No, you're the whole family.
You're marrying the whole family. And sometimes you just have to come to terms with that. And it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not an easy thing. No. But so it's good. I think it's really good how they did that scene and the dining when they were having their dinner together. It's, the pre-wedding dinner. It's perfect because it was a very heavy subject for Simone to deal with. But now it's like, it's okay.
It's
for her to deal with
perfectly
it.
Imperfect.
Yeah. Perfectly imperfect. I love every second of it. And Carl is such a sweetheart and he's so in love. I mean, his eyes light up, and
he's such a cool dude. He's moved to my top short list of favorite characters.
Yeah, he's just such a
cool
sweetheart.
Dude.
I love how in episode 7 it swings into like sweetest. I wrote he's the sweetest thing is like Simone brings over Hector to the house. I think that's fascinating relationship. And of course, Tom's mom thinks that they're like her son's on drugs because, of course, she's getting like expensive jewelry from Tommy boy. And Tommy says, I love you. And it's like, holy cow, Carl has cancer. I'm like, this episode mentioned cancer. One really doesn't have cancer, but says it. And now it's like, he has cancer for real. I knew from like his face, that face just dropped. He was, Simone was really excited. What do you think? Should I go on a trip to France with Tommy and this and that? And he's all for it. He goes, listen, you're never going to have a chance again to do what you really love. I missed out on a lot of things. Do what makes you happy. I just love how they tied it in. Don't you love how they tied that in?
Is this our favorite couple right now?
Yeah. I'm loving this couple because I could totally be in this arrangement and be happy.
Sicaro.
Yes.
I just combined.
Sicaro.
Sicaro. Even though it ain't perfect, even though they may have other interests.
Yeah.
She got Tommy. He got the ex-hairdresser.
That's
I'm not
right.
going to respect him and say his name because you betrayed Simone on
Hector.
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 Sicaro.
Carl encanta su latino. El hairdresser. I love it.
But I can't front. I actually liked Hector too.
He's cool.
I like when he complimented her in that odd moment. He's likable too.
Yeah, he's very smart. Very smart to do that. Very smart man. But so we're gonna get into also episode 6 and 7 of Taylor and Eli. Eli so that we can get to news and the special segment and all that good stuff. So what do you think about this whole throuple? Like, I mean, Taylor is now very jealous over Eli and Jade because, you know, Eli did not want to confront Taylor with that. They actually did it while she was away. But Jade was just like not having it. She's like, I need to tell you the truth. And so she tells Taylor the truth. Agent Lamar, you know, Eli's agent, goes and wants to hang out with all of them and praises Jade because, hey, do you think you want to be a writer as well? Because, I mean, like, you're the muse. You've brought Eli's script to life. Taylor was not having that. And Taylor doesn't think that the whole throuple thing is going to work out. And then they try to do like a trip together. And then that's not working out because she finds coke. Eli's hooked on drugs because he thinks that's the only way to get him going. And I mean, I know you're a writer as well. Yeah. Like, any advice for this man, Eli? Because, Lord.
I would tell him to just use Red Bull or coffee, but then I end up crashing anyway. My advice, you know what my advice would be? And I should be practicing what I preach. But working out.
Yeah.
Working out gives you more energy.
Absolutely. 100%.
He needs to get out, go to the gym, run, bike, get some fresh air with nature and come back and be energized.
That's right.
I feel like a lot of the scenes we see him in, he's indoor. He's indoor most of the time.
Chilling
get out. Run. Jump. YMCA if you have to. Whatever you got to do.
He's got a gorgeous backyard. Go to your backyard and swim, and then you can write. But how about that $1 million for that script that he got?
It's feasible. Usually a writer's fee would be lower than that from my experiences. And maybe I'm just not that cool of a writer.
Right. Maybe we're just not there yet, but we will be.
Once you're in the game, you know, then maybe you could get that much. But for a writer to get $1 million on a script, so usually what happens when you turn in the script for a movie, it's a fraction of the budget.
Right.
And it's a very small fraction of the budget, contrary to what people think.
Right.
Most of the budget's going to go into production. So that movie, if he got $1 million for that script and sold it, he has the top agent. Maybe his agent is a top agent in the world.
Well, he seems like it. He seems like a baller. His agent. He seems like it.
Congrats to him. And hey, sometimes as writers, we need to put our egos aside because you could think your script is amazing. Then you get into a writer's room, it could turn into something different, or you could get a revision. There are even script doctors out there who will go in on your script. But good for Eli.
Good for Eli. Stop with the coke, right?
Yeah, but bad for Eli because of the drug thing. And it's a nice tangled writing situation. They wrote a nice tangle because Jade did get him to the next level in the script, but she also reverted him personally. She pushed forward his career, but then she pulled him back in his personal life.
Right, which is why Taylor is out of the mix a little bit more so in episode 7. She's a little bit out of the mix. And I think that, we'll leave it for predictions, but I think she's obviously going to come back into the mix. But yeah, Jade is holding on. She's like, you're going to take care of me, Eli. Yeah, it's crazy.
She really makes me think, is she going just after both of their money?
She's going after both of them, but we're going to leave that for prediction. I'm just, all these episodes are so brilliantly written. Let's get into special segment, Why Women Killers. George.
So we're going to talk about real life killers. We see the Why Women Killers on Why Women Kill. But in real life, there are some notorious female serial killers. And we're going to talk about Jane Tappan. She was a nurse who killed dozens of patients. Dozens. Her nickname was Jolly Jane. She confessed to 31 murders after her arrest in 1901. She would kill victims with different combinations of medicines and injections. And to end the story, I'm never getting a physical exam again. I ain't even getting a flu shot. I ain't even going to CVS for my subscriptions. You know what? I'm ordering on Amazon Prime. How about you send the medicine to me? How about that? Cash me outside or on Amazon.
I love it. Wow.
It's spooky.
Spooky. Just in time for Halloween.
Oh my gosh, that is coming up. Should I be Drake or Bo Rat?
It'd be Drake.
Or Aladdin. I could go for all three of them. You know what I'm saying?
Go for all three. Thank you so much for this special segment.
Yeah, sorry for the kids who are listening, who already need a lollipop when they go to the doctors. Now you ain't gonna go to doctors no more. Parents, sorry if you can't take your kid to the doctors anymore. It's my fault.
It's your fault. It's George's fault. And now we're gonna get into the news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Guys, I gotta tell ya, it's buzzing on the news. The bisexual polyamory story in Why Women Kill is gross. This is what they're saying.
Really?
Why Women Kill on CBS Access is about halfway through its first season, and it is a very interesting show. Made by Desperate Housewives creator Mark Cherry, it discusses on a house in California where 3 different women end up embroiled in a murder plot across different eras. Jennifer Goodwin is a frustrated housewife with a cheating husband in the 60s. Lucy Liu is a glamorous socialite in the 80s who finds her beloved third husband, and he's actually gay. In present day, Kirby Howell Batista Taylor is in a polyamory situation, and she's thoroughly a modern woman. She's black, a lawyer, the family breadwinner, and a hardcore feminist. Bisexual in his open marriage with her husband Eli, which is played by Reed Scott. When Jordan Patterson looks under his bed in fear at night, Taylor is probably what he sees. Oh goodness, hold on, there's more to this. It's not popping up for me, but I gotta tell you, like, it's on the news saying how they're just not happy about this particular scenes because it's not looking good on the people that are actually polyamory. Like,
I see. They feel it's a misrepresentation.
Yeah,
I thought they're saying the relationship itself.
No, they're even saying like I hate her, but the different reasons and the cultural Marxism panic crowds proudly does. It is fairly rare to see bisexual people on television, and when they are there, it tends to check out a host of problematic boxes that contribute to biphobia. Unfortunately, Taylor does that a lot. There's the myth that bisexual women are actually greedy and promiscuous. Think Maureen in Rent, who was probably the first bisexual person that a lot of people saw on screen and is defined heavily by the fact that she sleeps with a lot of people. So they're feeling like they need to make this story a little more friendlier to the bisexual community. They're just, if anybody just looks this up, this was written, let's see, Jeff Runner wrote this just like a few days ago. It was in the Houston Press. It's like on a lot of different sites. If you just Google Why Women Kill News, and it's just getting a lot of attention.
I understand
their relationship, the polyamory relationship. They're some of the people that are real polyamory people are kind of getting ticked and don't think that they're nailing these characters.
I truly understand their sentiment, especially
Right.
being in LA and knowing polyamorous people and friends who are in those relationships.
Right.
They work it out, and it's not always a problem. And I want to defend Why Women Kill here, just
Right.
in the sense that I don't believe they're intending to single them out. They're showing problems in every relationship that's happening here.
Absolutely.
And probably most of the problems that we've seen so far are happening in the 60s in the monogamous relationship. So I empathize with them if they feel that that's how it's coming across and understand the sentiment. At the same time, I don't think that that's Why Women Kills the production teams or writers' intent.
No, it is not their intent. So I just hope, write your comments how you feel about this. I feel, I'm not in a relationship like that, but like you, I also know people that are, and I feel like they're depicting how it is because, I think that Taylor, because of end of episode 7, she is trying to go to a polyamory event weekend getaway to understand it more and work it out. So I think they need to give it a chance and let a few more episodes go by because she is herself new to the fact of actually bringing the relationship together. It is very new.
Yeah. And then also at the same token, bisexuality is somewhat new to television.
Yes.
And I appreciate this article for protecting the fort and making sure that as the first shows that are rolling out and representing this are representing it properly. So
Right.
we understand.
Of course. And I know that Mark Cherry, because he's such an incredible writer and creator, executive producer, he's I'm sure on top of all these news, and he's just like, oh, okay, let me see for the next episode. Let me see what I could tweak.
Right.
Let me see, because I do want to make that community happy as well.
We want everyone to be happy.
Absolutely.
Let's all just have a big group hug.
Big group hug. That's how this world should be. It just be one big happy family.
Yes.
And I love, however it is, whatever relationships anybody wants to be part of. I love every part of it. I love, 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 love. Just like the song in the beginning. L is for the way you look at me. Oh, love it. Love that song too. So guys, that is it. We are wrapping up episodes 6 and 7. Stay tuned. Next, it's coming up Thursday. We're going to be again, episode 8. Oh, so quickly.
8's my lucky number.
Ooh,
It's my very lucky number.
Ooh, lucky number 8 is coming. So stay tuned for that. And George, so we're wrapping it up. Where can everybody find George?
You could find me at Mr. George Corey. My platform of preference is Instagram, so it's at MRGEORGEKHOURI. I also have a huge YouTube channel. You can see some updates for some of my videos. Yes. And look out, coming soon is Black Coffee series created by yours truly. So just kind of look out for it.
Look out for it. Black Coffee by one and only George Corey. And you can find me at Jackie Nova 7 and all social media. You can also find me not only on Amazon, because Richard Ryan, the director and producer, my partner, and myself have a movie that's coming out called Art of Deception, and you can buy it on Amazon October 8th. You can also check it out. If you get confused, go to oxfilms.us. Again, Art of Deception is coming out October 8th, and you can all watch my action suspense thriller. It's gonna be kick butt. Thank you so much for tuning in on Why Women Kill. Buzz you later.
Peace out.
Yay!
Nuestros fundadores Keven Undergaro y Maria Menounos quieren agradecerles por estar aquí en AfterBuzz TV. Recuerden que no solo somos los primeros en ser los más grandes del mundo y el único destino para todos sus programas de televisión favoritos. Así, vayan a AfterBuzzTV.com para ver nuestra lista de shows. ¡Hasta luego!
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.